My age is 76, and I've been here pretty much all my life. Parents moved up here in 47, about 2 miles west of us where we're here, and we met through school, and just back in the day, you didn't have fancy stuff running around and like you do nowadays, and cell phones and all that. It was just a country boy and a country girl got together.
He was only, I think, 15 or 16 years old, and we've been together ever since.
Nobody else around.
He was just a good person. What juice?
There was nobody else around. In the old days, you didn't have your choice of everybody all over the county. It was local. I was on the USS Essex for 2 years and did, I guess, 2 med cruises, and I don't know where all else it was. It's been a while back. And then I transferred to a Nauta hauler, which was a fleet tanker, and made a couple of cruises over there. Went to Gitmo, went to Holland, England, pretty much all over the East Coast and the Eastern or Western European. We spent time in Florida. That's because the Essex was home ported in Mayport, Florida. We spent a lot of time there fishing and just enjoying life. And then the Nauta hauler with a Norfolk-based home port, and we did the same thing there. You know, just she was with me most of the time. And when I was overseas, didn't you go to work for Maslin for a while? That was before.
Yeah. Well, no, he was in boot camp, I guess. I worked at Maslin's in Carlisle for a while.
Got out of the service and worked as a mechanic for 20 years, something like that. Started up my own garage and working on Volkswagens, and they went away, so now I got in the gun business and got the farm. We're doing farming here, and I'm retired, but I can't afford to be retired, so that's sort of where we're at. We traveled, made a lot of trips out west.
NASCAR.
We followed NASCAR pretty much for a few years.
Oh, I love Dale Earnhardt Jr. I have a cat named after Junior.
We never had a knock on the door from Sunoco. All we got was a letter stating we would like to survey for a new pipeline. And if you do not agree to that, we're going to do it whether you want it or not. That's what they said. If you do not agree to it, you'll have to file some kind of lawsuit, which we did. And our attorney filled it out, and then Sunoco come along and said they didn't want to have that hearing. They didn't want to do it. And they sent Bart Mitchell and Kurt Stambaugh, which Kurt Stambaugh worked with McNeese Wallace, which was Sunoco's attorneys, and Mitchell was the head or a big shot with Birchon. They come out and talked, wanted to try and get me to agree to survey. And I said no. And they said, well, we'll get back to you in a couple of days with an offer about something. And never heard another word out of them. And in the meantime, they had put stakes out in the fields because they had went through the neighbor's place and staked it. They didn't do ours because we didn't give them permission. And I told them that there's stakes out in those fields and I make hay there. If I hit that and break my hay bind, who's going to pay for it? He says, take them out. I said, I didn't put them there. So he said, we'll take them out. Well, they didn't, and I broke the hay bind. It took me 3 years to get paid for that. They finally did pay for it. And in the meantime, they never got back to us. And a year later, we get a notice in the mail. You have a hearing date in 3 days, Cumberland County Court, to see if we can get permission to survey. 3 days. And in the meantime, our attorney had gotten himself into something, and we couldn't find him. So we had to get a new attorney, and he did get a 2-week extension, got brushed up on it. And we went to court, and our judge was Judge Guido, if you want the name or not. He sort of ruled for Sunoco, And he did not even let our attorney speak. He said, no use you talking, my mind's already made up. That's just what he said. He said, let them do what they want, any way they want it. And then along with that, they had thrown in a repair, which we didn't know anything about. And they tore up our property out here, and they come through in the mud and run through my hay fields. I had hay laying, they ran over it, run it down into the mud, and stood there and laughed about it. And this was by an outfit called Summit. There was a repair for the old Mariner 1. And we had no results, no luck with anything. And then we went to, they took us to court they filed eminent domain. They offered us a very low amount of money, and we, of course, turned it down. Money was not the object. I told you, our new attorney, money was not the object. We don't want a pipeline. And he understood that, and we went to court. In the meantime, Guido had reclused himself because he heard that people were accusing him of being bought out. And so he turned it over to another judge that said, I can't go against my other judge, my senior judge, because he already ruled on it. So whatever he said's got to go. So that's how we ended up with a no good decision from the Cumberland County Court. So we took it to Commonwealth Court, and we just got the ruling on that a month or two ago. We lost there. They just said the lower court rules. So now we tried to renegotiate with them. They don't want to negotiate. They want to go to a board review, which normally doesn't pay anything. And in the meantime, we are appealing to the Supreme Court and hope we can get heard by the Supreme Court. That's sort of where we're at right now. They've been historically lying to us. I had written a letter to Dave Charleston, the senior vice president of Sunoco, explaining what was going on, and he got back to me, and he went half with what they said and half what I said, and said, we had offered you a bunch of money and we are open to negotiations. So in the meantime, we lost our case. So now they don't want it. I wrote him another letter and said they don't want to negotiate. Are you a man of your word that you would still want to negotiate? Well, I get an email back. Dave Charleston no longer works for Sunoco. He has nothing in this, but yet he signed the postal agreement. I sent it express mail, it had to be signed for. He signed for it personally, and they said he was no longer there. So somebody's lying somewhere along the line, and they do not want to negotiate, and we're going to the Supreme Court, and hopefully we can go there, and maybe we won't win, but they'll never get my signature on a piece of paper saying they have the right to do this. I don't need it. I don't owe anybody anything. The place is paid for. I make enough money that we can eat and live, buy a new car once every 5 or 6 or 8 years. I've saved enough money over the years. We want our place, we want it left alone. Elected officials, we went there I think 3 times asking for help to get zoning or do something to help us stop this. And they were worried. The solicitor said it could cost them some money and it could break the township. They didn't think they wanted to do that. In the meantime, now we found out that the one supervisor has a campground out here and it's half full of pipeline construction workers. He didn't want to stop the pipeline because he wants rent money. That's what we found. The township the local officials here didn't do nothing. We went to the state representative, which was Stephen Blume. He was not interested in helping us with eminent domain or anything. We went to John Eichelberger, which is our state senator. He is all in favor of fracking and pipelines. He wouldn't do nothing for us either. So we had no luck with the officials. It's all just a ramrod job for them, and whatever they wanted, they got.
When they come here to cut our trees, they had probably 3 constables. There was at least 3 state police, I don't know. I guess they were afraid of us.
And the constable is supposed to be for both of us, you know, for both sides. We have a picture there of the constable and this head guy from Perchon sitting in the same vehicle to save gas. I have pictures of that if you want it. You know, when you sign up for the military, that's what you're doing. You're good. You can get killed, shot, dead, and fall overboard or whatever it is, and that's okay. Nobody, it's just you signed up to that's okay. But I didn't sign up for okay to steal my property to put a pipeline in that does not do anybody any good in the state of Pennsylvania, or other than Sunoco and Range Resources that are pumping it out of the ground. I just hope we win, because I'd love to see this pipe come back out of the ground, because they've got a bunch of it buried.
I just want to live my life, what's left of it.